Hi there boys and girls, Brucey here, and I thought I would do a pedalboard rundown, one I haven't done for a little while, with my setup that I have been using for a little bit now. My simplified, very simplified setup here has actually been simpler at times, where I've actually removed the power drive for no particular reason, but I've added it in because I just love the sound of it and I kind of got the space, so I thought I would add it on, but it's not necessarily. I could actually get by with a much smaller board than this. So as you can see, my board now revolves primarily around the MS3, which has been a real life changer for me, and the Atomic Amplifier box, which I am using just as an amp. It is my amp. It is my amp in a box. It is set to a Vox clean tone. And I run everything else off the back of that. That doesn't really change. That plugs directly into the recording desk or into the mixing desk. It gives me my clean tone. So at the moment I'm using a PRS, my semi-hollow SE Custom. So first off, for most of my clean tones, we go straight into, here I'm plugged in directly into the wah-wah pedal with a cable, but usually it goes through my, you can see the Line 6 G30 wireless there for gigging. There's my squeaky wah. Doesn't matter in the gigging situation. I think I need to put some WD-40 on there. It's a little bit creaky. So we go from the wah. The wah then goes into the Boss MS3, which is the brains of my setup. So most of the time I'm operating it in manual mode, and I have a number of different setups. As you can tell here, I'm also got the Keeley D&M drive, which I just love. Discovered this recently, and it is the answer to all my overdrive dreams really, and it works so amazingly well in this setup because I can stack the overdrives. Removes the need of having lots of overdrive pedals. I just need one pedal now, okay, with two options but one pedal. So very briefly how I've got this set up: I have a clean sound, I then have a crunch sound. The crunch sound is this, the mix side, or this side of the D&M drive. And I go to a heavy rhythm sound, which is the Daniel, or the D side. And then I have my lead sound, which is both of those stacked together. So that is the basic setup in a nutshell. Clean and getting gradually dirtier. But the benefit of the MS3 is that you can have so many different options. Now I've done a video on how I use the current num, or how I set up the current num feature, but current num is probably one of the most important aspects of this. So what happens with current num is actually, if I am in memory mode, if I press the same patch number, I can switch on a whole bunch of other effects at the same time. And in my clean, I just switch on the M side, or the mix side of the D&M drive. So it's just for a little bit of a clean boost solo thing going on there. Nothing really complicated happening at this point with this. A little bit of grind, a little bit of dirt over the clean. So that's nice and easy, but it goes beyond that. So if I then switch into manual mode on my clean tone, I have a whole bunch of other effects set up. So first off, I have the tape echo. have a Univibe. For everything nice and swirly. I also have an auto wah, should I need that. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult here with the camera in the way. Let's put the auto wah on. If I want to get down and funky. And where it gets really clever is the first switch. I've actually got a switch to switch between the reverb in the Boss MS3 and my Polara reverb, which I've set to quite a long modulated setting. So actually what I'm doing here when I switch one on and off, I'm actually switching between two things. I'm switching that on and the reverb off and vice versa, which is quite cool. So I can get my lovely modulated reverb from here. If I turn that back, I just go to my straight reverb from there. A lot of functionality there straight off on just the clean tone. And probably the clean tone is the one where it is the most complicated, because that's the one where I want the most variation. And of course, on top of all of those tones, I can just use the current num switch to switch in a little bit of grind as well, should I want it. Moving over to the crunch, I have the crunch. On the current num, I have a little bit of a boost, so I can go. What I'm actually doing when I switch to it is I have the straight M side of the pedal. All I'm doing here is putting a little bit of boost before that. You can see how I've got this set up. I have another overdrive on here to give it a little bit more gain. Should I want it? I've got some chorus. But what we'll also notice here is for all my patches, I have a external foot switch, which I can use to do tap tempo on. I can also use it to switch my delay on and off, which means if I am in manual mode, I can actually switch the delay on and off just using the external switch rather than going into memory mode. So tons and tons of flexibility there. Moving over to drive. All I'm doing there, again on the current num, is switching the D&M drive, the M side of the D&M drive on as well. In here I have a flanger as well. And finally, my lead sound. So on this patch, the current number is actually a mid boost if I need that little kick, so boosting some of the mid frequencies to enable me on quite a saturated sound to jump over in the mix. That is all the sounds. That's basically how I have it set up, and then we just come out of the MS3 into the atomic amplifier. The benefit of this setup is if I have the ability to use an amp at a gig, I can just switch off the D&M drive, the atomic amplifier over there, and just plug this straight into my amp, and we are good to go. Sound should be pretty similar. You may have seen some of my other videos on the MS3. There's just so much functionality and so much power, and it makes life so much easier. I haven't got to the bottom of all the things I'm going to do. I do have some other patches which I might take you through on another video, because this one's dragging on a little bit. There's some nice fuzz patches, there's some nice funk patches that I am developing. It's just so easy to use, and with all the current NARM and assigns and the external foot switch, you just got so much power that makes life so much easier when switching between effects. You can do so much with just one foot switch. So there you go. That is a little bit of my pedalboard rundown for 2018 going into 2019. Getting closer to a final solution. Loving the D&M drive, loving the Polara. Doesn't necessarily need to be there because the reverbs on the MS3 are pretty good, but I just love the modulated reverb sound, and I get lost in it for days. So I put it on there for the time being because, hey, the MS3 has reduced so many of the need of so many pedals that I've got some extra space, so why not use it? I've been Brucey. I hope you found that useful. I will catch you later.